Listen, if you think the US boycott is just about politics, think again. We look at the data and it turns out that the longest undefended border has quietly turned into a legal minefield for Canadians.
Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Canadians are getting detained in the United States, including kids, and not because they did anything wrong.
Today, we're talking about why crossing the border in 2025 is no longer a quick trip south. It's now comparable to entering an unstable regime where the rules change daily, your rights are optional, and your safety is not guaranteed.
You might have already decided to stay home, and after watching this, you're going to be very glad you did. Before we dive in, though, we have a quick question for you. Are you planning to travel to the USA this year?
Yes or no? And tell us why in the comments. Your stories are honestly shaping how Canadians see this whole situation.
So let's start with the fact everyone keeps glossing over. More Canadians are being detained by ICE than ever before.
New U.S. data shows 207 Canadians have been held in ICE custody since Trump's second term began, up from 130 in all of 2024.
That's more than a 50% spike, and 44% of them had no criminal charges, no convictions, nothing pending. That's almost half of the people detained. No record, yet they were still detained.
And yes, that includes children. At least 6 Canadians have been detained. Toddlers, teenagers, a boy born in 2019, a toddler born in 2024, a teenage girl held for weeks.
Oh, and one toddler, a Canadian, was held for 51 days in a facility already accused of unsafe water, inadequate medical care, and poor legal access. The U.S. has a 20-day limit for detaining children, but the system just ignored it.
And this isn't just numbers on paper, people. A 49-year-old Canadian man, Johnny Novello, died in ICE custody this year. Amnesty International has flagged serious issues: overcrowding, lack of medical care, solitary confinement, and systemic abuse, including testimony about injuries, ignored symptoms, and unsafe conditions.
And this is the part Canadians always misunderstand. ICE isn't just detaining criminals. ICE arrested nearly 220,000 people between January and October alone. Nearly 75,000 had no criminal record. That's 1/3 of all arrests, no criminal record.
And that's just ICE. It doesn't even include Border Patrol, which Trump is now sending into cities. So no, it's not as simple as don't break the law. Canadians with clean records, with kids, with proper documents are still being swept into detention.
And behind the scenes, the pressure is enormous. NBC reported that Stephen Miller threatened to fire ICE officials if they didn't hit their 3,000 arrests per day quota.
When your job depends on filling detention beds, people get detained who should never be even near a detention facility.
And those beds? They're big business. Private prison corporations make billions from detention contracts with minimum bed quotas and guaranteed payments.
Empty beds mean lost revenue. Full beds mean more money. That's the system Canadians walk into when they treat the U.S. like it's 2015.
Bad policy becomes profitable policy. If the beds are empty, companies lose money. If they're full, even with people who shouldn't be there, well, everyone gets paid. This isn't border enforcement. This is systemic abuse inside a system financially rewarded for volume.
So when Americans say, if you've done nothing wrong, you'll be fine, the data says, not even close, people. Innocent people get pulled in all the time.
Now let's talk about the second layer to this story, the new registration and fingerprint rules. Under Trump's protecting the American people against invasion order, very subtle by the way, Canadians staying longer than 30 days now must register with the U.S. government.
That usually means an I-94 form, fingerprints, a photo, and a $30 fee. Snowbirds who crossed like they always did were suddenly told to get out of your car, go inside, get fingerprinted, photographed, and pay up.
Others spent hours filling out the forms online, only to be told at the booth, you didn't need that, just call the port next time. There's no consistency, no centralized website, and border agents give completely different instructions.
And then to make things even more confusing, the April 2025 rule. Canadians must create a U.S. immigration account and receive a digital proof of alien registration.
For the first time ever, Canadians are being pulled into the same tracking system used for immigrants and long-term foreign nationals.
And here's where the chaos really kicks in. Some officers say you need to pre-register. Others say don't. Some say fill out the I-94 online. Others say it's unnecessary. And immigration lawyers admit it outright. Nobody, not even the border staff, fully understand these rules.
Which would almost be funny. But when the penalty for following the wrong version of the rules is getting dragged into a detention system with a record of abuse, maybe clarity should be step one.
So now, suddenly retirees in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, people who've owned property in the US for years, are talking about staying home for good, as well as the rest of Canada. Canadian tourism to the US is down 45% this year and has already cost them billions of dollars in lost revenue.
And it gets worse. Canadians aren't just avoiding the US due to paperwork. Border experts say transgender and gender-diverse Canadians are facing the most unpredictable risks.
Lawyers are advising them to carry extra documentation, choose pre-clearance airports so they can walk away if needed, and prepare for invasive questioning.
One Canadian trans artist was directly warned that their visa could be denied because of their gender identity, so they canceled their tour. Others fear being detained and placed according to birth sex, not who they actually are.
Immigration lawyers are really direct about it. Detention is dangerous for trans clients. They can be placed in the wrong gender facility, singled out, and exposed to harassment or violence. That's not a theoretical fear. That's the realistic risk in today's climate.
So when people say, just be honest at the border and it'll be fine, that advice rings pretty hollow if your very existence is being flagged by an administration that has spent years stripping protections for gender-diverse people.
And whether you're a performer or not, that's a risk no one should have to calculate at a border for safety.
And it's not just artists. Ordinary Canadians are quietly changing their travel plans. Or, like us, loudly changing our travel plans.
Yep. One family has echoed what millions of Canadians are already feeling. They wintered in Florida for 5 months every year, and now they finally said enough. Not because they stopped loving Americans, but because the political hostility made them feel unwelcome.
And they're not alone. Lawyers, reporters, travel experts, they all say Canadians are shifting to Mexico, Europe, or staying home entirely.
Gun violence, broken health care, that's been part of the U.S. reality for years. What's changed is the political environment. A mass deportation machine running at high speed, kids detained, a Canadian dead, trans travelers at risk, snowbirds fingerprinted, rules changing depending on who's working the booth, and unsafe. It's just not dramatic, it's accurate.
So what now?
Well, first, if you choose to travel to the U.S. for leisure when you have other choices, why would you even do that? Why would you support a country that is literally threatening our sovereignty? I mean, I do get it. We've had friends who booked their non-refundable tickets last year or who own property in the U.S. and need to travel for work. And for them, they have to cross the border.
And look, if you have to go to the U.S. for family, work, a conference, whatever it is, then go in with your eyes wide open. And start by signing up for the Registration of Canadians Abroad. It's not magic and it's not perfect, but at least your own government can find you if something goes sideways.
And don't just wing it at the border anymore. Show up prepared. Have your accommodation address, proof you actually live in Canada, your health insurance, your return ticket, all the stuff we never used to think about.
And if you're trans, non-binary, or otherwise walking into a higher risk situation, talk to an immigration lawyer before you even pack a bag. Don't check it out on Reddit or in a Facebook group. Get a real lawyer who knows how these rules are being enforced today. It changes all the time.
And finally, remember, you're not trapped. If a country wants to fingerprint you, register you, and might even detain your kids over paperwork, well, maybe that's not where you should be spending your winter.
No! Mexico, Portugal, Spain, Costa Rica, Panama, Thailand, Ecuador. Or you can even stay right here in Canada and have a cozy winter vacation. They're all waiting for you. You don't need to cross the border and deal with this hassle.
Listen, none of this is about hating Americans. We've met incredible people across the U.S. This is about policy. Policies that treat allies like suspects.
The era of casual, thoughtless trips to the U.S. for a shopping trip, well, that's over. And Canadians need to go in with their eyes wide open.
Your passport doesn't make you bulletproof. Being Canadian doesn't put you above Trump's system. It just means that you were late to realize how bad it's really gotten.
So if you're avoiding the US this year, tell us why in the comments. Is it Trump, the politics, the border rules, safety, healthcare, or all of the above?
And if you still plan to go, what precautions are you taking?
We'll keep covering all these things as they evolve. Travel should be about discovery, not wondering whether a paperwork mistake lands you in a detention center in Florida.
So thanks for watching. That's it for today. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, you don't need to cross a border to find somewhere worth exploring. Not when half of this country looks like a screensaver.
And if Trump wants to know why Canadian tourism has collapsed, well, he can start by looking at his own policies and the data we just walked through. There's no mystery there, and you can check out our video below for even more on this subject.
And if this helped you out, hit like so more Canadians see it.
And subscribe if you haven't, because apparently that's the only way the algorithm remembers that we exist.
And if you want deeper dives, our Substack is where we post everything the YouTube elves won't let us boost.
Plus, we have a private Facebook group now, Unfiltered North, and it's full of smart Canadians, Americans, and so many great people from around the world who actually read past the headline.
And yes, the merch is still there too. No fingerprints required.
All are linked below.
We'll see you in the next one, and whether you're staying home or heading abroad, or both, keep your eyes open and your passport clean.